Hello, everybody. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, good evening, Barb.
I'm doing
Tom?
great, Barb. How about you?
Fine, fine.
Good.
I'm going to say hello to some people in the chat. Grizzly has taken the show off. He's doing much better. He just, he needs to take a rest and get used to his the situation and the heat. I think in Arizona, and he and Ane are having a good time, and they've been doing some shows. So so I said, yeah, we can handle it. Three of us can definitely. We have enough to talk about, right? We always do.
We ought to be able to cover an hour on Bigfoot, I think.
Right. Exactly.
I just, Grizz is not here, Barb, and I just a little quick bone of contention. There's probably nothing we can do about it, but you got me next to that goofy looking guy with the horns on his head tonight. It's kind of creeping me. It kind of creeping me out.
I don't want that. I don't want to do that. Let's see how I can.
That's weird. Go back to the horns. Go back to the horns.
I don't know how to. Oh wait, shift. Okay, let's see. No. I don't know. Yeah, that's gonna be your friend tonight. So let's
want to trade chairs.
Yeah. Oh boy. See that this is so, like, let's see, shift. I don't know. Okay. Because I'll take us like completely do something.
Maybe that guy makes me look better. I don't
know. Yeah, he he's creepy.
I think I was married to his sister once.
Maybe that is
that's a show in itself, Tom.
So we'll say hi to Gary and Amy. Hi, both of you. Who else do we have? Let's see. Oh, we got a lot of people in here. Great. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Let's see. Go back to the beginning. All right. We have psychic medium Melinda Williams. Welcome, Melinda. And Curtis W. Hello, Val. I think I said hello to Val. And Crystal, Karma. Let's see. Did I get everybody? Leonard. Hi, how are you? Thanks for joining us. YouTube user. Hello. Susan F. Little Twisted. Good to see you. Hi, Liana. And Woo Riders. All right. Well, great. Is Denise? Did I see you in here, Denise? If I missed you, I'm sorry. Anyway, hello, everybody, and welcome. So, how has your guys' week been?
Been busy. Just finished up a project with the new book. Basically, it's a republication of one that was in print back in 1993, and it was just too important not to be out. It was originally done by Vance Orchard, and it's called Bigfoot and the Blues, and it's basically follows the decade from like 1982 to 1992, and of course in the Blue Mountains, Vance was the outdoor writer for 30 some years with the Walla Walla Union Bulletin, and then went to the Waitsburg Times as editor to end his career. But during the time of this book, he's following Paul Freeman and Wes Summerlin and some others in their explorations of the Blue Mountains and the Sasquatch there, and it's fantastic. A lot of it is newspaper articles that he'd written and published in the newspaper that he's put in the book. And I bought a copy of his book off of eBay last winter sometime. And I paid $150 for it, or $175 for it, something like that. And I said, this needs to be in print, and went through the process of trying to find, down his family, and couldn't. The publisher's been out of business for 20 years, and I couldn't find copyright. And so finally I said, I'm going with it. If anybody complains about it, I'll just turn it over to them, because it's just too important of information not to be out there. I mean, the stuff he has in there is fantastic, even beyond what Paul and Wes did. There's a lot of information in there, a lot of information. Yeah, I know those areas. That was my home for many, many, many years.
Wow.
Matter of fact, Barb Shoup's group just got back from there today.
Yeah.
A week's camp out over there, and it's been fantastic. The stuff that's gone on is absolutely great. Lee Calvez had her first ever sighting.
Oh wow!
And,
yeah.
Yeah. I hope she saw my red one. My teacher's daughter is red haired, and yeah, so I hope she got to see her. Yeah, I'm excited to get to talk to her to find out what happened, and she's been, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, they had an active week, didn't they, Tom?
Yeah, they had an active week, very active.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, between that and getting my act together ready for tomorrow, my friend Brian Bland and I are doing a podcast and recording it on the proof of Sasquatch. When we get done with this, there will be a video available to anybody who wants it that proves Sasquatch's existence with scientific, reproducible, measurable evidence.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one to come out. That's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be out. I don't know how long it'll take me. Sometimes I'm slow.
Well, that's a lot of stuff. So that's wow. And I've seen a rough draft or whatever, and it's really good. It's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. And I ordered the book, and so I think that should be coming today or tomorrow. But can't wait to dig into that too. Oh, Tom, I'm so glad that you decided to do that.
Yeah, it's I've just been vacillating. Should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? Should I do it? And then finally, I said it's got to be done. And and if anybody complains, they can have it. That's not what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it to get it out there, not for any amount of money that it takes. I'm just trying to pay the bills on it is all,
Right. Tom, tell everybody that how they can get your book.
Oh, the easiest way is to go to my website, tomcantrell.com. Okay. And
but they've got to spell your name correctly.
You've got to spell my name correctly.
Thom.
Yes, that's right. That's right. See, my mother named me Thomas. And over my 81 years, I've just worn the as off, and it just leaves Tom. Okay. and on that, there's a shop. One of the pages on my website is a shop, and you click on that, and the book comes up. And click on that, and it'll run you through it and take your money and everything. So, or if you want to do it the other way, you can just go through Amazon.com and order it straight from there too. So, but if you order it for me, you get it signed.
Yes. Barb just put it up in the chat, tomcantrell.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Yeah. And the little twist, it said, glad you pointed that out, Mike, as far as with the spelling. Yep.
Well, because somebody on one of these other Facebook pages or YouTube channels or something was advertising Tom as a guest a week or two ago, and they misspelled his last name. I thought,
yeah.
So if you're trying to look up a website to order the books,
I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is. Oh, I don't like when that happens, right?
Now, chances are that won't happen with me. Mike Scott's kind of not hard to spell.
Yeah.
You start throwing in more vowels and a silent consonant in the equation.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, yours is every time I say Mike Scott, because we're the Office fans here, in our house, and they're like, Mike Scott. Like,
I can honestly tell you, I have been asked that question 1,000 times, and I have never watched one episode of that show, so I have no idea.
It's really funny. It's good.
What show's that?
The Office.
The show The Office. They got
The Office.
They got a character named Mike Scott on there.
Yes.
Okay.
The boss. He's just it's hilarious. Just hilarious.
When I started this website, I started out with the name of my first book, ghostsofrubyridge.com. But by the time I'd written 10 books, the name of the website was so long.
see, my kids, Barb, my kids will, when I meet some of their new friends, I mean, and they say, "Oh, you're famous, Mike Scott, you're famous," and I ask them, I said, "Oh, are you Bigfoot fans?" They're like, huh? What?
Throw them for a
loop. The Office. And then I get to look for my kid, like, don't bring that subject up.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's
yeah. And so, Tom, how did you and Brian? What did you get asked? I mean, with this project, it's really cool. How'd you come up with that to do that?
Well, we on the Pork and Beans show, I was asked to be on that, and it really went sideways. They had another guest there, and he was I don't know, skeptical or whatever. But when I started talking about Patterson Gimlin, he started attacking me, and so I just backed off and let him go. And so afterwards, Brian says, "How about you and I just sit down and do it together, one-on-one, and that way we'll have a clear, clean video." Although the two of us can get to cracking one another up too, and spend all, right. He's one of my two compatriots in our 5-year glyph study that we did in his home area in BC, and you won't believe how much we laughed. We were talking about that today. He's moved over east a ways. And he's in Creston, BC now. But we were laughing, 5 years we did that, and we just laughed and just had a wonderful time, he and I and Sue. And we learned so much, and they got so close to the clan there, to Arishna and Rajase and Forshna and all them that lived in that area. We got to know them all. We got to see them all. And be with them, had them call us to come join them. That's where I got to see Rajase's twins be born, was in that area. So, not being able to go back there now is just, it's hard, but, it's what I have to do, I guess.
Yeah.
I still hear from him occasionally.
Oh, yeah. How far did he move from where?
Oh, it's where he moved to is just directly north of Bonners Ferry, Idaho. That's about 8 miles from the border, just north of the border. And so it's a long ways over there. And it's, of course, it's about a third of it's on Trans-Canada Highway 1. Then the rest of it is just like our county roads. And the best is, I've traveled those roads. I've been all over there, but it's not easy traveling. And to get from Bonners Ferry, Creston to Bonners Ferry is easy, but from there even south through Sandpoint and down to Coeur d'Alene, that's a slow highway. It's country road type thing. But the place they got is just absolutely beautiful, absolutely wonderful. I'm so envious of them actually, but I'm so happy for them too.
Yeah.
And they've been such good friends for so long. It's just been, and they have Sasquatch right there on their place.
Yes. Yeah.
He's already established contact with them. So
Do you
So
think
it's
that all the
just
regulars, Tom, will be coming to visit him? You think,
if there's a reason, yes. If not, they may just visit, in his mind and mentally. My teacher does that to me a lot. Uh, uh, but yeah, they'll stay in touch with him. I'm sure of that. But they'll introduce him to new ones there too. But they are special. The ones we knew in uh, where he lived before were very special to us. Just
oh,
Little Bud. Just his name we made up because he was a little guy. And so much fun. And him and Brian would get in tree throwing rocks at tree matches. And Little Bud would throw a rock at a tree, and Brian would throw one, and hit it, and their Little Bud would come right back at him. It was so
cute.
much fun to watch. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's like, wow. How far away was this little guy when, how close or close to you?
We couldn't see him, but he had to be very close because he's hitting
Oh
the
my
same
gosh.
tree.
Oh,
He's hitting the same
wow.
tree.
Huh? But you couldn't see him.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you
The
hear?
only time I ever saw him, we had gone on a hike and had left the trail and hiked down this ridge quite a ways, right along the ridge top, and looking for glyphs or anything, any structures or anything like that. And I turned around to come back, and he's standing there about 30 feet away, and just a little guy. I said, "I was going to take a picture." I said, "If you don't want to be in the picture, you better hide." And he hid, so I took my picture, got what I wanted. And then when I came back, he's I told him I'm done taking pictures now. So he came back and he says, "I go now. You go too." So I had to turn around and walk back up the trail. I go now. You go too.
Oh my gosh, that's just so amazing. Wow.
Yeah. Then last September when I was up there, I went up for Brian's gathering in September and ended up getting pneumonia, bronchial pneumonia. I was trying to sleep outside.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to see Rajase and her twins and her baby too. All of them.
Wow.
The twins are 9 years old. And she says, "I want to see you come to such and such a place," and I did. And I had some ladies with me, and they wanted to hike, so I told them where to go, and I just going to sit in the truck and wait for them because I can't hike anyway. And they were no more than out of sight. Then here came the Rajase with the twins, and so I got to see all of them, and like I say, she had her baby was born last January or January before, and so yeah, it was cool. It's just too much, just so cool. I just love it.
Wow.
I so love dealing with these people. They're they're just so cool to be around. Yeah.
So I got a question, Tom. 9-year-old twins, roughly how tall would a 9-year-old Sasquatch be?
They were about 5.5 feet tall.
9 years old, about 5.5 feet.
They were pretty healthy size. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. They were about a foot shorter than I am.
Okay.
At that. Yeah.
So.
Wow, that's neat.
And
were they boys, girls, two? What was it?
One of each. Each one of each.
Oh, one of each.
Wow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did they look like her, or? And do you know who their father is?
They did. They really did look like her. Same head shape, same. And fortunate, their father has a very, very distinctive sagittal crest.
Oh,
and Raj doesn't. Hers is much more subtle, and they look more like her than it did Fortune.
okay.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah,
What sort of coloring does she have?
they
Like
were
her hair?
dark. They were both dark.
Okay.
She's dark but kind of salt and pepper. She has, and she's the only one I've ever seen that has blue eyes.
Oh, wow.
I've heard of others, but I've never
Yeah.
seen any others that have blue eyes. And the way her head's shaped, her hair on top looked like she had a crew cut.
Oh my
Just very
gosh.
unique. Very unique.
Wow.
She's a very unique young lady.
That's cool.
And yeah, I learned a lot from her. She was only 18 when she decided she wanted to mate. And I probably told you this before, but when they
Tell
want to
again.
mate
I want to hear it.
at the meet at their semi-annual meeting,
Mhm.
it comes up, so and so is looking for a mate, and in this case, she was looking for a mate. Well, there's a young man in Oklahoma who would be suitable since they're far enough apart. They don't have to worry about inbreeding.
Mhm.
And so she went to Oklahoma to be with him. Arla saw them there because when I started to describe Raja say to Arla, I saw her. Let me get my
Oh,
notes. She went and got her journal and started reading it and read the description. It was identical. And so
Wow.
and Raja say she knew his father because
oh,
they had met on the trail before in that area. And Roger, I mean, the Force's father is huge too. He's like 14, 15 feet tall.
whoa.
And Fortuna was 11 feet at least, probably 12 feet at 20 years old. So
Oh,
he's very thin. Still hadn't started to fill out yet, but now he's quite stout and built more like my teacher. He's huge. My teacher's huge at 9'3", but his body fits him. I mean, his shoulders are 54 inches across,
Oh boy.
and they grow into their body. Yeah.
And I want the people, to understand when you say Arla saw her in Oklahoma, that's traveling from the Pacific Northwest to Oklahoma.
2,000 miles. Yeah.
And people will say, well, do they migrate? Do they do this? They can take
Not
trips,
really.
obviously, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
They can take trips wherever they want to, wherever they're
yeah,
called to.
yeah. So,
And,
if they,
but as far as migration, from high elevation to low elevation, when the snows hit, they'll come
Yes.
down.
right.
Follow
They-
the food.
they- where that's exactly it. Wherever the food is
Mhm.
where they're going to be.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of like us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We wanna-
Little Tristan is asking about how old do they live, Tom? What do you think? How long do they live? Or old?
If barring accident or something like that, they'll live
Mhm.
about 100 years.
Okay.
Mainly because they have a great diet. Okay,
Oh,
there's no McDonald's in their diet.
Yes. Yeah. All the other
Okay.
stuff. Yep.
They eat nothing but the best food, and there's no poisons in their food, no antibiotics in their food, and they are the greatest herbalists that I think that have ever lived. They can treat anything with herbs, and yeah, but conventional life is about 100 years.
Mm.
And when you stop and think about that, in the state of Washington, 72,000 square miles, there are 20 clans that I've identified, from 13 to 18 individuals per clan.
Now, are we
So-
counting Barb's
that's
clan counted in that?
Pardon me?
Is
Pardon
Barb's clan counted in that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's only part of a clan that's playing with her.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and but that means there's about 300 individuals in the entire state of Washington, and 72,000 square miles.
Oh my gosh.
They live 100 years nominally, so that means you're going to have 3 deaths per year on average.
Mhm.
Spread 3 deaths across 72,000 miles, and tell me why you've never found a body.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now add to that the fact they bury their dead, and it really
Mm.
becomes a moot point, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
We have another question. Liana King wants to know the 9-year-old twins that you were speaking about. That's so fascinating. Were they like identical twins?
No, because they were fraternal, one male, one female.
Oh, yeah. That's
They looked
yep.
a lot alike, but they
They
looked like
looked
brother and sister.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to be identical when one of them's male and
Yeah.
one's female.
That's right. That's right. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Oh, Little Twisted said, I think one has followed me 550 miles. Does that
Well,
sound
that's
like
very possible.
wow?
That's very possible.
Oh, that's cool. And yes, yeah. Little Twisted did say, do they bury? Yeah, they do bury their
They
dead.
do. Oh, they have quite a. I can show you some pictures if I knew how to put them up here, of graves, and they'll put the biggest, most huge rocks over the top of them, replant trees that are, 15, 20 inches in diameter over the grave. You'd never, by the time they get done, you'd never know it was a grave. It's just,
Wow.
it's totally, plus the fact they might be buried 3 feet deep or 20 feet deep.
Oh.
now that brings up a question I have, because a couple years ago we were doing some. We were over in Mark Twain National Forest, and we came across a rock bed. I mean, it was just a pile of rocks, and all these rocks were about baseball to softball size, and it probably went about 6 to 8 foot in one direction, and about 4 foot in the width, and 6, and we were curious as to all of a sudden that rock pile, that the rock pile obviously was placed there, and I thought, I mean, my first inclination was, well, we were fairly close to a game trail, and that's their weaponry stash to chuck at these deer and stuff like that to stun them. But now you mentioned that, I wonder, well, could it have been where one was buried? I don't know.
I don't know, because see, in our area, those stones they use are huge.
Yeah.
I mean huge.
Yeah, because these were all baseball to softball
If
size.
I can't.
If I sent you a picture, Barb, could you
I can't do it because am I stupid? I can. If you send me, I can show videos, but I cannot show photos.
We'll have to wait the next week.
Yeah.
Well, Grizzly is worth something, isn't he?
He is worth hanging around anyway.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
So, Mike, did you have anything? Yeah. Oh no, go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
yeah. No, I'm just. I'm
Okay.
Okay.
So last Wednesday, I asked Tom about the green eye shine. Because I had a buddy report he and his daughter had seen the green eye shine, and I guess that was probably Tuesday night when they saw that. And Friday night, I met them at the spot. I went up and to do a little investigating with a buddy of mine, Steve Nabowski. Actually, it's his brother Scott Nabowski's house, and these are, we all kind of off and on do some research together, and Scott lives up in North Cape County. He lives in a little village, right in the middle of a village of about 120 people, but it's not, and it's surrounded by the countryside. But so, and this was pretty close to his house, and so we went to check it out, and so I asked him, and his daughter is in high school, and she's actually had a class. They both have had a Class A sighting in the last 5 or 6. You know, they know all about it. It's not like they just totally oblivious to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what confused him was the eye shine was about 5 foot off the ground. And he said, you know, it's just, he goes, Bigfoot, I'm assuming much higher. And then the other animals of the forest would be lower than that. And he was, you know, he says, you know, well, we'll go take a look at it, see what we find. So we go to the spot where they saw the eye shine next to the road, and then it moved and disappeared into the woods, into the tree line. We found 2 very credible 11-inch footprints at that location. And I immediately
11-inch would be
going back to the formula, 11-inch would suggest 5 to 6 foot tall.
That's
which
right.
would suggest be consistent with the height of the eye shine.
Yes.
So I explained to Scott, I said, we're talking Sasquatch here, and for this reason. I said, you know, and a lot of people say, well, how do you know this is, you know, they see tree structures. How do you know it's Sasquatch or something else? Or how do you know, hey, go look at all the evidence.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to tell him. Let's just go look at it. Let's go look at the scene. Let's look at all the evidence. Let's recreate what's going on here. And
recreations are the most valuable thing you can do.
And when we find the footprints at the very same spot, going back into the woods, and we just, you know, this is like the day after that hurricane rain come through southeast Missouri, right?
Oh, geez.
So the ground's softened up. We can see some good footprints. I said, hey, the length matches the height of your eye shine. I said, we're talking Sasquatch. But now, so these things are coming up into the village. Now, here's the deal. About a half mile from that village is a flat rock bottom creek bed that goes a pretty good distance, eventually runs into Apple Creek, which separates the county line. And that's a travel way for them. They travel that. In between the creek and this spot is a cornfield with, at this time of the year, about 6 foot high corn stalks going into a real thick patch of woods.
Wow.
And then that was the patch of woods that this road kind of goes through. And then there's no church in an old one-room schoolhouse that's not being used anymore, with a very well-kept yard. And there's footprints galore in the back of that schoolhouse and church, right there at the edge of the trees that we would see as well. So everything. So these Sasquatches are coming up, and they're checking out the village under the cover that they've got to work with. And I mean, you're talking about, you know, they were 75 yards from Scott's house at that spot. But now the interesting story about Scott, and I told you they had both of them, he and his daughter had Class A sightings. Scott has probably a couple acres up there in the center of that village, but he's resourceful with it. He grows a real nice garden. He's got poultry. He's got goats. And with those Sasquatches around there, his stuff is never tampered with. Okay. Now, but a couple years ago, he had to kill one of his goats. When something happened to one of his goats medically, he just had to put it down. And so he thought, well, okay, I'm not going to let it go to waste. I'm going to butcher it.
Yeah.
So he takes the head of the goat and all the scraps, you know, the gut, all the different scraps in that, the hair, and he decides he's got to get rid of it. What am I going to do with it? So under the cover of darkness, he takes it down to that creek bottom, about a half mile from his house, and he just sets it somewhere in the creek bottom for coyotes or whatever to come and get. And the next morning, when he walks out his door, there's his front porch, and right next to the front porch is a wood pile for the firewood. Sitting on top of the wood pile is this goat head.
Oh no. Oh my gosh, that's so creepy. Oh. And they're like, wait till he get a load of this.
That thing's sitting right down there. Yeah. And of course, you know, his brother and I are the two go-to guys for him. Scott gets excited. He's like, "What's going on here?" And I said, because he's trying to think, how did that get back up here? There wasn't anybody, wasn't any human being.
Yeah.
Told me to go do that,
Mm-hmm.
and they surely aren't going to go. If they did, they aren't going to go to the trouble to do that.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to think, how did it get back up here? I said, Scott, there's only one way it could have got back up there. I said, which means Mr. Sasquatch was on your front porch, right next to your front porch, in the middle of this village. I said, the question is why? Why? And it could be maybe they put some of those goat scraps to good use, and they're saying thank you for that. Maybe he's saying keep your junk up here and don't bring it down to our creek.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, give us something that's got some meat on it.
Yeah.
So, but
You forgot your head down there. Your goat forgot its head down there.
but we invested the eye shine and that was we invested the eye shine and it turned out to be pretty much I'm looking at some of these comments. They're talking about Southeast Missouri and UFOs here. Which I'll allude. So there's a guy. Anyway, going to Southeast Missouri UFOs. There's a guy, a documentary person. Joe Turry is his name. I don't know if you guys have heard him or not. He's into UFO documentaries and he's doing something. They mentioned that one in Piedmont, Missouri, and I think that was 1973. And close to the same time, they've got one just below Murfreesboro, Illinois, in what they call Grand Tower, had a big UFO sighting, and those are on the same parallel. Okay, like a couple 100 miles, 150 miles or so straight across from each other.
Whoa, yeah.
And Joe is doing this documentary on this Grand Tower UFO, and I talked to him a couple of months ago. I didn't go on camera because when he came in with his cameras, I was out of town. But I talked to him on the phone, and he's trying to put together UFO Bigfoot correlations. And I told him, I said, I don't have anything for you on that. I said, I just hear what other people say here and there, but I have not observed any correlation between the two. We did see what could have been a UFO one night up that area, but that was a whole different subject. But so they were asking about this on the chat a little bit, and so that is something that's we discuss from time to time. And when we go up and sit at the campsite at night, we also look at the skies and see what's flying around in the skies. And sometimes it doesn't pass the identifiable test. And so what could it be? That's the question. So but anyway, we investigated that. That was fun. And that's one of the best stories around Scott with that goat head.
That's
from a couple of years ago. It's just we tease him about that to this day, but it's really it's just cool that when you somebody calls you go investigate and you kind of confirm that. So
yeah, for sure.
Got to tell you a story that happened just this last week with Barb Shoop in camp. They took some honey buns, something like that.
Oh yeah,
and each one is individually wrapped in plastic inside the box. Well, the first night there, there was a rodent that chewed a hole in the box and kind of chewed one of them up. And they had told the Sasquatch, you're welcome to them, but don't litter, please. So the second night, they next day they checked it, and that whole little hole that had been chewed in there had been ripped open, and one of the honey buns was gone. When they pulled out the one that was chewed, the packings that it was in had been put back in the box.
That's so
So they
cool.
went, isn't that cool? Yeah,
That's
they,
really
they
cool.
weren't going to litter then, so they put it back.
Yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
that is cool. Yeah. Oh, that's when they have stuff like that happen. That's so funny.
Well, where they were camped at Godman Springs in the Blue Mountains, I have never been there without having an encounter.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
And is that
You,
that's the same kind of area that the book that you republished? Is that right? Like in that general?
yeah, that's part of it. Is there, and the Paul Freeman was a writer for U.S. Forest Service in the Walla Walla's watershed on Mill Creek. Okay, there's many thousand acres there. I don't remember how many, but a very huge chunk of land, the whole watershed for Mill Creek, is the water supply for the city of Walla Walla. About 27,000 people there, and so Paul was a writer for Forest Service. His job was to keep people and animals out of the area. They opened it, by permit for hunting in the fall. There were so many permits that were allowed and such like that. But you had to be very, very careful, and you had to make sure you packed out everything because nobody wanted their water polluted, of course. And that was his job. And that's where he started seeing Sasquatch in the Blue Mountains, was in that watershed. And one of the major roads runs right along the eastern edge of it. And that's where his 1992 encounter was on that place called Deduct Springs. And that's where he saw the mother with the little one on her and filmed it in 92. In 82, he'd had another one, and he just got some film, but it was terrible film, and I've seen it. It's not good. But he had an encounter there too, and that's where this book starts, is with that 1982 encounter. And the newspaper article that Vance Orchard wrote for that, they just give you a little quote here from it.
Please. Yeah.
Okay. I know what I saw, and I'm not going to change because that's what I saw. Paul Freeman, Mill Creek Watershed Patrol Rider, who claims to have seen a huge, hairy, man-like creature on his rounds Thursday, said the creature was unlike anything he had seen in a lifetime of woods experience. That's the opening paragraph, chapter 1.
That's so cool.
Okay.
Wow.
And that was actually came from Vance's newspaper article on it. So that's why these notes are kept so well.
Yeah. Wow.
And people say, and that's the thing, Tom, they'll say, well, I've been in those woods all my life, and I've never seen anything like that before.
Mm-hmm.
Probably so.
That doesn't mean they haven't seen him.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I tell them, I said, I had a lady contact me via email this week from South Carolina. And she said, "Hey," she says, "I've seen you on these podcasts, and I'm going to be in St. Louis." And she gives me the date she's going to be in St. Louis visiting her mother. And she says, if you would be kind enough to set up some type of outing, I'd love to meet up and go on an outing with you guys. Now, I would do that. Being a happily married person, I would do that with other people. I wouldn't just go to
right. Sure. Yeah.
Right.
We do it right. Yeah. So, I said, I tell myself, I can't promise, and more than likely you won't see a Sasquatch, but I can show you evidence. And
might hear them.
And that's why I tell these people, I say, once you see the evidence and once you hear the evidence, then you can't unsee it and unhear it. It will grow.
Right.
It will, every time you're in the woods, it will grow on you. And so
that's for sure. I had like I had a pretty crazy, it's been a pretty crazy week here. It was because I was going back through and I'm looking at my phone, and I really need to get better with documenting things. But it's just, I don't know. It just seems like things keep happening. So let's see. Oh, this is kind of funny. Well, not for my little dog, but the little dog has been bothered at night. He's very skittish, and he's looking out toward the windows where the forest is, on that side, and very coming back in our bedroom or in my husband's office and just laying down and covering. So I was talking to one of my friends who's a Sasquatch researcher, and she said, "Barb, you got to get out there and tell them to leave him alone. They're having a good time terrorizing him, and it's the juveniles, she calls them rat bags." And she said, it's the mischievous juveniles. So I said, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go out. I'll go out tomorrow first thing, and I'll have a conversation with them. So I guess that was probably Saturday morning. So I go out and I walk out onto the side porch, and I said, "Hey, now listen, we have to have a talk. We have to have a talk about Asher." And my husband, I didn't realize, was on the scaffolding 10 feet from me, but I can't see him. And he goes, "What do you want to talk about with Asher, babe?" Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I thought, man, I'm in trouble. She's using that. We're gonna have a talk."
and then when you tell him that you're not talking to him, you're talking to them. Yeah. He's ready to have you committed.
No, they know. They know. As a matter of fact, Asher, our dog, was very upset last night again, because I feel like for a couple days, maybe 1 or 2 days, he was a little better, but last night again he was acting up. So my daughter said, "Mom, would you go out and speak to your Bigfoot out there, tell him to stop bugging Asher?" So I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, that was really funny.
That's funny.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
You notice this, Mike, is kind of like the rose between two thorns here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me see what else. We have a fence that we rebuilt alongside of the shed that we had also rebuilt, and we just finished putting up a section of it. And now this is on my Facebook page on No Drama, Bigfoot and Cryptids, if you guys want to take a look at. But so we had just finished up putting the railings, because we have them horizontal. And the next morning, or maybe, I don't know, maybe a day after that, whatever, shortly thereafter, I go out along there and I thought, wait a minute, there were all along there where you wouldn't be able to see them from the camera anymore, because that area is visible from one of our home security cameras. So now that it's nicely blocked off, there was just a whole row of these little glyphs. And I know that they were not there. They weren't there a few days before, because we were in that area. So I thought that was kind of cute. They're all busy in there. Hi, Penny. Mm-hmm. Hey. So that was neat. And and another cool thing was that I was down at our beach the other day. This, I guess, was Sunday. It's been eventful. Yeah, Sunday. And I just was walking down. I haven't been down there for, oh my gosh, it's like a couple weeks. It's crazy. And I thought, oh, look at, there was an area that was, because of the current, varies so widely. It's such a radical up and down here. You'll have like, this area will be sand. And then, and then a week later, it's all rock. So I'm like, oh, wow, look at the area that's all sandy. So I walked over, and there it looked like a butt print. Like a bare butt print, which I think was about maybe 12 inches maybe wide. And I mean, two perfect little, like cheeks.
Yeah.
and then like in like the front, as if it was leaning over, little hands, like little handprints. Now, not little, like a little smaller than mine. I have small hands, but a little smaller than mine, but not like raccoon, not like that kind of hands. I mean, and it was, I'm like that. And that would be a perfect spot for one of them, to stick a baby or a little one there as they fish or, dig for shellfish or whatever. It was so cute. Yeah. Penny, when I was putting it on to Facebook, I'm like, I gotta be careful here. You don't want to say like baby, but like, I mean, you just never know.
Cute. I like the cute little cheeks. Brian Barber.
Yeah.
Cute ones.
Yeah. So I also have that. Yeah, I also have that on my Facebook.
You're not talking about yours and mine, Tom. I can say that.
A little baby.
Well, we have casts of butt prints that were done in Washington that were found by our group a few years ago. Very, very interesting. I mean, it was 22 inches across, and so probably a juvenile female. The first one was, because you could see the labia.
Yes.
You could see the anus very directly, and you could see all the striations where the hair was.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And the other one was male. You could see the where the scrotum had been in the mud, and the anus, and again the hair, and just fascinating. And we had one person volunteer to be a guinea pig and sit in the mud to get a comparison. First thing that shows up is their butt doesn't show the caucus.
Oh.
Ours does.
Oh.
That was the first thing we noticed. It was very evident in the human butt print, and theirs, it did not show at all.
Oh, yeah, there wasn't. Yeah. Not in this. I'm not sure if this was. I'm not sure the gender. Because it was kind of, in that area, it wasn't definitive. I mean, what was so clear was the two perfect butt cheeks. Those prints, like, wow, you can't mistake. That was what really caught my eye. And then the little fingers. But that's.
We had handprints, even in the mud, handprints like that.
Wow.
And knee prints. It was just fantastic sight.
Wow. That's
and
cool.
And we learned real quick to, when you find something like that, tape it off real quick.
Yeah.
Keep people out of it until you're done investigating it, because we lost that in the mud handprint.
Oh.
Because somebody stepped
in it by
we'd seen it before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brian Barber has that's interesting. He said no tailbone. That makes it seem further away from monkey then.
Absolutely. That's another difference. First of all, monkeys, number one, don't have external lips. Okay, Sasquatch do.
Yes.
Monkeys don't have chins. Sasquatch do. Monkeys don't have sclera in their eyes. Sasquatch do. And monkeys are not capable of articulated speech. They make sounds, but they can't articulate speech because of the way the hiatal bone attaches to the tongue. And Sasquatch can. They can. I mean, we've all heard their articulated speech, even if we can't understand it. We've heard the speech.
Right. Yeah, interesting. Good point, Brian. That's really interesting. The last thing I have was. yeah, is I'm gonna play this. This was when was this? Let's see. 11 months ago, I got this audio, and this is a Sasquatch that sounds like it's cooing. And I think you've heard this before, Mike. And then there's also another one, like I'm thinking like I think it's the alpha male that I think his name is Mont, because that's what I think he had told me. So let me play that for you, because then I got a similar one just 2 nights ago. So I'll play this one though. Oop, and I have to turn my volume. Starting over. Could you guys hear that okay?
Yeah, the guttural grunts.
Did you hear the ooh? Could you hear that?
I didn't hear that.
Really?
When
Could you hear that, Tom?
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, that is so.
I heard a couple guttural grunts, but
no, it's like a woo woo. Oh my gosh, let me play it again. Does anybody? Could you in the chat? Can anybody hear that? Yeah, it's like a woo. Right.
I know I've heard it before.
I'll tell you what you got. Oops. So go to my YouTube page, because I have it on in the shorts, in my shorts, and in my shorts, the videos versus shorts. Oh, geez,
First we were talking about butt cheeks. Now we're talking about your short.
It's so weird.
I don't know where the show went all at once.
I know, right? In the ditch, took it in the ditch. That is so weird, though. Now, but now this is interesting, because I know that it's there, but why can't? I mean, do you think that it's pretty loud too? Do you guys think that it's something?
I've heard it on your shorts.
Yeah, I heard it on your site.
Yeah.
But I'm not hearing it in this, and
it's so weird.
I don't know, but
So I'm not going to play the other one, because that's faint and you can barely hear it. So I just wanted to say, but that one is back around, and I thought that was kind of interesting. That you're right, Roger. Time to get the tow truck out. Yep, get us out of the ditch. So it's interesting that I'm quite sure that I would think it's a female. So I'm working on. I want to get this one, the new one. I want to try to get it amplified a little bit more. JJ Messenger was able to enhance it for me, but so anyway, yeah. So, well, guys, we are at an hour, so I guess we'll. If you guys, do you have anything else to say or any questions from the viewers? Except for where's Rebecca?
Anybody who has any questions about anything that I've said or wants to see the pictures that I referred to, just get a hold of me on Facebook's the easiest way. I'm just there under my own name. So get hold of me there, or send me a go to my website and send me an email there, and I get back to you. Everything's available. So if you want to see it, just get a hold of me.
And same here. Get a hold of me, and I'll send you on the time. So that's.
And that's me too, because I've already. A woman asked about what do they eat, and I'm like, Tom. I think I know they're omnivores, but Tom would know. Group expert. Okay, well, everybody that is here and that was here, thanks for joining us from coast to coast and around the world. We'll see you guys again. Have a great night. Thank you.
All righty.
Good night.
Coming to a YouTube channel near you.